happen to have a bolster, those are nice to have, especially toward the end of your practice. So come to the top of your mat, and then we're going to start with our very familiar side stretching, get those oblique abdominals going. So take your feet about hips distance apart, and then you're going to squeeze your legs into the midline. Pretend there's a block there. You're squeezing in toward this block, and then take the arms up toward the sky. So as you inhale, lift up nice and tall. As you exhale, stretch over to your right. Let your head rest so you're not trying to use neck muscles here. Breathe deeply. Breathe into your back and into your sides. So allow that rib cage to expand backward, which is something you have to do pretty consciously. The front ribs expand subconsciously or just by themselves. They're built that way, but the back muscles and the back rib cage you have to think about a little bit harder. All right, come on up on the inhale. Go over to the other side. Let your head rest. Breathe into your back. Expand those back ribs. And come on up on the inhale, and then release the arms. Okay, so coming to the top of your mat, let's warm up a little bit more before we start getting into any of that strengthening. Take the arms up on the inhale, look up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, fold. Let's do a few more times. Get these hamstrings loosen up. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, relax. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, relax. All right, now transfer some of your weight into your right leg. So especially if you're tight in the hamstrings, you can come up a little higher and put your hands on blocks or even on a chair in front of you. Transfer your weight into your right leg and lift your left leg up. And then put it up into your knee up into your chest and then bring it back down. And then transfer your weight into your left leg and lift your right leg up. Bend the knee a little bit. And then bring that right leg up into your chest and then bring it back down. Let's do it again. To come into your right leg, lift your left leg up and then bend the knee and then bring that thigh up into your chest and bring it down. One more time. Take that right leg up, bend the knee, and then bring that right thigh up into your chest and bring it down. I was lying. Let's do one more. Take that left leg up, bend the knee, bring that left thigh up into your chest and bring it down. And take your right leg up, bend the knee, bring that right thigh up into your chest and bring it down. Inhale, lengthen out your spine again. Exhale, relax. One more time. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, relax. And now plant the hands on the ground and step back. So once we are here, you can drop the knees if you'd like to. Lift your chin, widen your shoulders. Exhale, lower down. Tops the feet, inhale. And exhale, downward dog. Take a moment in your down dog and gently shake out your head and nod your head. Lift your armpits up a little bit and roll your shoulders onto your back. And from here, look up. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, relax. Inhale, come all the way to the sky. And exhale, arms to sides. Let's do it again. Arms up on the inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, plant the hands and step back to a plank. Reach through your heels, widen your shoulders, lift your chin, and then if you want to drop your knees for the push-up, you can. Lower down halfway. Inhale, tops the feet, push into the feet. Maybe the thighs lift off the ground, and then exhale, downward dog. All right. Transfer some weight to that right hand and take your left hand and grab any part of your right leg and gently pull. And then let that go. And let's go to the other side. Gently tug on your left leg. Let that go. And then look up. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, relax and fold. Inhale, take it to the sky. And exhale, arms to the sides. Take the arms up on the inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, step back. All right, this time we're coming into child's pose. So drop your knees wide. Come into child's pose and press forward into the mat so that your hips come closer to your heels. Okay, so we're going to be doing a lot of strengthening of our back body. And so what I want to do right now is stretch the back body. So we're going to walk over to the right-hand side. So from here, walk your hands over to the right side off the side of the mat. Lift your rib cage up and twist it to the right and bring your rib cage down on your right thigh. So we're working into the side body here, side stretch. It's a little bit of a twist, so you're going to drop your left rib cage and lift your right rib cage. All right, come back through. Let's do the other side. So you're going to walk over to the left side, lift your rib cage up, twist your right rib cage towards your thigh a little bit, and then walk the hands forward. So it's subtle, but there's a lot going on here. You've got your QL getting stretched out, oblique abdominals. This all works into your hips, hamstrings. All right, going to go a little bit deeper here. So now, come to all fours, and you're going to take your left arm behind your right arm and take your left shoulder to the ground and bring the left side of your head to the ground. And you might want to roll toward the back of your head. That's up to you. Press into your right hand. That can facilitate a little bit. All right, plant that hand. Let's go for the other side. Take your right arm behind your left arm. Bring your right shoulder to the ground. Press into your left hand, which may help you roll a little bit more toward the back of your head. All right, and then pull it, press down through that left hand, and let's do a downward dog and see. Just kind of roll the shoulders onto your back for a moment. Find those shoulders, draw the shoulder blades together on your back, and then flip your toes over, find your down dog. Lift your armpits up a little bit, relax your neck, gently shake out your head and nod your head. And look up. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, relax and fold. Inhale, take it to the sky. And exhale, arms to the sides. All right, Sun Salutation B. Big toes together, heels slightly apart. Take the arms up on the inhale, sit back into Utkatasana. Bring the arms together, the palms together if you can. And then pull the arms back in line with the ears a little bit more. So you should be feeling a little bit more of your middle and upper back here. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen out your spine. Exhale, step back. Take a moment on your inhale, and then exhale, lower down. Tops the feet, inhale. Exhale, downward dog. Right leg lunges, left heel pivots and plants. Take it forward. Inhale, and then lift the front of your hip bones up a little bit. Tailbone's going to drop down. Look up towards your thumbs. Lift your inner back ankle, towards your outer back ankle. And then squeeze your inner thighs toward each other as if you're squeezing a block between your thighs. All right. Little variation of a side plank. Bring your left hand to the ground. Walk your right foot off the mat. Come to the pinky edge of your left foot. And then take your right hand to the back of your head and push your head back. So, tiny back bend, opening up that hip as well. All right. Right hand back to the ground. Step back to down dog. Walk it out a little bit. Lunge your left leg forward. Drop your back heel. Come into warrior one. Drop your shoulders. Lift your inner right ankle towards your outer right ankle. Lift your front hip points. And then squeeze your inner thighs together as you look up. And hands down on the ground. Side plank variation here. Plant that right hand, walk your left foot off the mat. Come to the pinky edge of your right foot. And then take that left hand to the back of your head and push your head back. And release. Step back to down dog. Walk it out a little bit. And look up. Inhale, step forward. Big toes touching. Exhale, fold. Utkatasana. Sink into your chair. Take your arms up. Drop your shoulders and pull those arms in line with your ears. And inhale, straighten up. Exhale, arms to the sides. All right, let's do another posture here. Let's go for a twist. Take the arms up on the inhale. Sink back. And this time, twist to your right. Hook that left elbow to the outside of your right leg. Tack your left hip back a little bit. And inhale, come on up. And twist to the left. Look over your left shoulder. Breathe. Tack your right hip back a bit. And inhale, take it up. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, step back to a plank. Take a moment and stretch your plank out. Widen your shoulders. Inhale. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, down dog. Right leg lunges. Warrior one. Okay, let's make this lunge a little bit wider. So you're going to slide your left foot back a little bit. So you can get your right thigh a little bit closer to parallel. Keep lifting your inner back ankle towards your outer back ankle. Now, instead of thinking about squeezing your inner thighs together, think about dragging your feet toward each other. Take the hands down to the ground. Or if you're a little tight, come to blocks. And you're going to walk off the left side of your mat and then walk your hands as far forward as you can. All right, come back to the center, drop your back knee. Turn your right toes out to the right. Drag your right heel and your left knee toward each other and twist and look over your right shoulder. And then reach that right arm back. All right, if it seems appropriate, bend your back knee and grab your foot, or even just try to bend your back knee. All right, and step back. Take a moment and walk it out. Hip should be starting to feel a little bit looser, but we're still a little imbalanced here. Lunge your left leg forward, drop your back heel, come into warrior one. All right, so lift your inner right ankle towards your outer right ankle. And then rather than squeezing your inner thighs together, try to drag your feet toward each other on the mat. And go wider if you think you can. Get that left thigh maybe a little bit closer to parallel. All right, once we are here, bring your hands to blocks or the ground. And then keep dragging your feet toward each other. You're going to walk your hands off the right side of the mat. And then see if you can walk your hands a little bit further out. Keep trying to drag your feet toward each other. All right, come back to the center, drop your back knee. Walk your left foot out to the left a little bit, turn it out. Bring your left hand to your thigh and look over your left shoulder. So little twist, draw your shoulder blades together, and then possibly bend that back knee. Reach back with your left arm and maybe grab your foot. All right, and then slowly come back to the center, step back to down dog for just a moment to even everything out. And look up, inhale, step forward, big toes touching. Exhale, relax and fold. Sink into Utkatasana, take the arms up and look up. And exhale, straighten the legs, arms the sides. All right, things are starting to loosen up, hopefully. Let's go for Sun Salutation C. Take the arms up on the inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, step your left leg back. Drop your back knee. All right, take the arms up toward the sky. If it seems appropriate, shift your hips forward slightly. And hands down to the ground. Step back. Lift your left leg toward the sky. All right, bend your left leg, press your left heel toward your left hip, and lift your left knee a little bit. All right, let's do a little bit of a crunch. Come forward, shoulders over the wrists, bring your left knee forward and try to touch your forehead and your knee. And extend back behind you. Press that left heel toward the left hip again. Lift the left knee. Okay, we're going to cross over. So come forward again, shoulders over the wrists. Bring that left knee to the outside of your right arm, or as close as you can get. Point your toes. And extend back behind you, big inhale. Bend the knee, lift the knee. Let's go for the outside left arm. Come forward. Don't worry about touching, just make sure you're going that direction. Claw the ground, point your toes. And extend back behind you, big inhale. Bend the knee, lift the knee. All right, we're gonna lunge it forward. Bring that left thigh up into your rib cage and step it forward. All right, interlace your fingers behind your back. Stretch your fist down, open up your heart. Maybe shift your hips forward a little bit. the ground. Step your right leg forward. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, relax and fold. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, right leg back. All right, take those arms up toward the sky. Drop the shoulders, possibly shift your hips forward a little bit. And on your exhale, take your hands down, step back. Lift your right leg toward the sky. Bend your right knee, press your right heel toward your hip, and then lift your right knee. And then we're going to come forward and try to touch the forehead. So round your back as much as you want to. Bring the two together. And extend back behind you. Bend the knee, press the heel toward the hip. Lift the knee. Let's try to cross over to the left shoulder. So shoulders over the wrists, claw the ground. 5 breaths. And extend back behind you. Big inhale. Bend the knee, lift the knee. Okay, let's go for the outside of the right arm. Right thigh up into the right rib cage, and then bring it forward. 5 breaths. And last one. Extend back behind you, bend the knee, lift the knee, and bring that right thigh up into your right rib cage. Step it forward. Interlace the fingers with the non-dominant grip. And stretch your shoulders down. All right. Hands down the ground. Step your left leg forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, relax. Come on up. Big inhale. And exhale, arms to sides. So hopefully that warmed you up a little bit. Let's go for another one. Take the arms up on the inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, step your left leg back. All right, we're going to go for a twist on this one. We have to get into those hips. Take that left arm up and over to the right. All right, now take that left arm to the outside of the right leg. Lift your belly. Pull it around to the right. Bring your hands together. All right, take a moment here. So we want to adjust our spine a little bit. Bring your hand to the back of your head and push your head back. So you got the tiniest little back bend happening here. And then maybe lift your back knee up. And hands to the ground, step back. Lift your left leg toward the sky. Open up the hip and bend the knee. Okay, so we're going to go into a bit of a back bend here. But the back bend is as big as you choose. So lift your right heel up. Turn your toes to the left. Bend your right leg a little bit. Bring it over. Keep those hips lifted. Look at your left hand. The right hand is gently twisting into the ground toward the pinky finger, clockwise. All right, and then flip it over. Lunge your left leg forward. Drop your back knee. And then bring your forearms down to either the ground or to some blocks. So let's get a little bit more into this outer left hip as you come down. Spread your back toes out. All right, let's just add a tiny bit more to this. So we already have a nice hip stretch happening here, but let's keep that and add a tiny bit of a twist since we've got those oblique abdominals that connect the hips to the rib cage. So you're going to walk off the right side of your mat. Bring your left forearm down to a block or down to the ground. Right hand can stay flat on the ground. And just bring your right rib cage up and drop your left rib cage. So as you twist, you're going to feel a little bit more happening on the outer hip area. Keep spreading out your back toes. All right, come on back to the center and let's step your right leg forward. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, relax and fold. Inhale, come all the way to the sky. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, right leg back. Drop your back knee. Okay, let's go for a twist on the left. So again, the twist doesn't have to be super deep. We're just trying to get into this hip more. So take that right arm up and over to the left. Give yourself a few breaths here. And take that right arm to the outside of the left leg. Lift your belly. Pull it around to the left a little bit. Bring your hands together. Flip your back toes over. And then remember that you need a little bit of a back bend here. So bring your left hand to the back of your head and pushing back is going to help open up that chest. And then lift up. Breathe. All right, and then step it back. Lift your right leg toward the sky. Open up the hip. Bend the knee. We're going to flip it. Lift your left leg, left heel up. Turn your toes to the right. Bend the leg and flip. Push into your feet, lift your hips, look at your right hand. Left hand is going to gently screw into the ground toward the pinky finger, so counterclockwise. All right, flip it over. And lunge your right leg forward. Bring your arms down to blocks or down to the ground. Keep your chin up, spread out your back toes. All right, let's walk it off to the left a little bit. So left hand's going to stay on the ground, right forearm's going to come to a block of the ground. Lift your left rib cage and drop your right rib cage. Okay, and then slowly come back to the center and step your left leg forward. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, relax and fold. Inhale, come up. And exhale, arms to sides. Okay, so that should have done some good work on the hips. Okay, we're going to go sideways now. So Prasarita Padottanasana. Part of this is that forward, backward with both legs, the sagittal plane, etc. It can move your SI joint in different ways where you want to be able to go into an equilateral place here and make sure everything's stretched the same on both sides. So hands to the hips, lift your chin, and then exhale, forward bend. Bring your weight to the fronts of your heels, so inner heels, outer heels, and front heels. And then if it seems appropriate, bring your hands to your legs, your shins, your big toes, whatever works. Draw your shoulder blades onto your back. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Inhale, lengthen out your spine. And then exhale, relax, and fold. So zip up that low belly. Keep that weight slightly forward. Counter that by tightening up the tops of the thighs. All right, bend the knees, bring the hands to the hips. Inhale, come on up. Turn your right toes toward the short end of your mat. Let's go for triangle. Big inhale, and then reach through the right hand side and bring your hand down. Left arm, excuse me, to the sky. It's hard to sneeze in a triangle. All right, so press down through your back heel. Squeeze your inner thighs together or drag your feet toward each other. Take your left hand to your hip and come on up on the inhale. Let's turn the feet the other direction. Turn your left toes toward the short end of your mat. Arms out, reach through. Again, find a spot that works for you. And then drag your feet toward each other. Pull them toward each other on the mat. Look over your shoulder towards your right hand. All right, come on up, big inhale. Turn your left toes in. Okay, so this next one you may need a strap. We're gonna try to grab our hands behind your back, and there's some variations here. So if you can't grab your hands behind your back with or without a strap, or if you're here and this bottom shoulder is pinching on the inside, then a better way to do this is to grab your fist and pull it over to your side, so you can get a better stretch through the shoulder. So no pinching. So wherever you are, just make sure you have no pinching. And then we're gonna go for a forward bend again. So grab your hands in either way, fist or behind your back. Forward bend. Keep your chin up, press your head back up toward the sky. So up into your right arm, or if you have your fist over on your right side, press your head up toward the ceiling. All right, come on up. Let's do the other side. So fist will go over on the left side, or you can take that strap into your left hand, grab your hands behind your back or your strap, and then again, find your spot. Make sure your inner right shoulder is not pinching, and then forward bend. And bend the knees, inhale, come on up, and shake it out. Okay, so a little bit of balancing here. Turn your right toes toward the short end of your mat. We're going to stay in this leg for a bit and work all the way through the hip. So we're essentially going to go into half moon and then into reverse half moon. So when you're ready, lunge into your right leg. Bring your right thigh to your right rib, or right arm to right thigh. Left thumb down, bring your left hand behind you. So just working into that shoulder a little bit more. If you have enough space between the legs, or if you want to get more space, slide that left foot. See if you can bring your right hand to a block or to the ground. So you can feel that stretch happening through the hips, which is going to help a lot in your half moon. Okay, this next part's optional. You can do a regular half moon with your arm up, or if you want to keep your bind and make it a little tougher, you can try that as well. So we're going to take the block, toe heel that left foot toward the right leg. So we're slowly transferring weight into the right leg. And then you're going to take your weight into the block, which is roughly under your shoulder. Nice big breaths. Again, grabbing or binding that left arm behind you can sometimes throw things off if something's a little too tight. So left arm up toward the sky is fine too. All right, now we're going to start coming into Warrior Three. So if you're binding, unwind, and then spiral that left hip down. Move that block under your left shoulder. And now we're going to twist. So you're going to slowly twist to the right. As you do that, use this buttocks muscle by either straightening the leg or lifting the leg. Twist gently. Keep trying to straighten or lift that left leg. Maybe take that right arm toward the sky if it seems appropriate. All right, and then come on down. And you may actually want to do a little child's pose here. Just check in. See how everything feels. We're going to do the other side in a moment. Okay, let's do the other side. So, blocks are always awesome. Let's go for the other side. So, turn your left toes toward the short end of your mat and find your Warrior Two. All right, we're going to come into a little bit deeper Parsvakonasana. Take that right thumb, point it down, bring the hand behind you. See if you can grab something on the left side. Nice big breaths. Look over your right shoulder. Big breaths. All right. Now, find your block. Decide if you want to keep your bind or not. Make it momentarily. And I'm going to move a little bit so I don't hit my bookcase. All right, so come forward. Find your half moon. Reach out through your heel. All right. If you're binding, slowly let go so we can get into our Warrior Three. So you're going to spiral that outer right hip down. Put that block under your right shoulder. These are great. This is a great posture for not just loosening up these hip muscles, but strengthening them, especially for bridge work, because you want them fired up before you get into your bridge. All right, slowly twist. Work on straightening that right leg or slightly lifting it. And if it feels appropriate, add in a nice shoulder opener here. And then you are ready to come down to the ground. And take a moment and just recognize the fruits of your labor. So when you're doing that twist, it engages a ton of back muscles, which is fantastic. These are utilized very rarely. All right, let's do a little side stretch here. So, I'm going to put two blocks at about a 45-degree angle, so they're not perfectly lined up with your mat. And they're going to come onto your shins, and then put your right foot on the block. So block can point whatever feels comfortable for you and the external rotation that your hip does. From here, we're going to go for a little side stretch to the left and then to the right. So you got your right leg up, slowly come down and bring your left hand to the ground. Take that right arm over. You should get a nice big side stretch from that right rib cage to that right hip. Okay, now we're going to come back up and we're going to go to the other side. So my right arm is going to push to the inside of my right leg. There's some resistance here because the right leg wants to kind of roll in. So I'm pushing back. And then what I'm going to try to do is get enough of my right rib cage to touch the inside of the right leg. I'm trying to close that gap, but not collapse to the right side. So right arm is to the inside of the right leg. I'm pushing, but I'm also lifting through the right side and trying to close the gap, right? So that my right side is lined up with my right thigh. So wherever you go, I'm pretty deep. Not everybody gets this close. I've got all of my rib cage here lined up, but that doesn't mean I'm not collapsing a little bit. I still need to kind of lift and lengthen through the right side. Now I'm pushing my right arm to the inside of my right leg and taking my left arm over. And you could theoretically go for a nice side stretch with both arms together, but it may help you more to keep that right arm kind of bent and in so you can help create some more length through that right side. As you do this, you may end up shifting your weight to the right a little bit, which will give you a little bit more inner thigh stretch as well. So play with it. Again, what you're trying to do is keep that right side long and lifted, which is easier said than done. But you can feel all those back muscles as you get into it. All connected to the butt, right? All connected to the glutes. All right, come on out of this. Let's go for the other side. Take a moment. You might want to sit back, move these blocks over to the other side. Okay, next. Left foot comes to your blocks. They're at a roughly 45-degree angle. We're going to go to the side first. So slowly come down. Take that left arm over and reach. It's a nice little release here. All right, come on up. And now let's try to figure out what to do with that left side. So left side, keep it long. You're going to bring it toward that left thigh. Keep it lifted. Left arm's going to come to the inside of the left leg. Keep lifting through that left side. Left elbow might bend and kind of press back a little bit, and then you can take that right arm up. So it's a little bit more intense side stretch, where we're strengthening through the bottom side, the lifted side, and just stretching through the right side. Lots of lifting through the left side. All right, and then come out of that one, and you should feel a little bit taller. Okay, so go ahead and sit down on your heels. We're going to get into the quadriceps a little bit more. So in order to get the butt muscles, the glute muscles to fire up better, it's useful to get the quadriceps to lengthen a little bit more. So we're going to come at it a couple different ways. Sit down between your feet. Now, if this is not feasible, you're going to sit down on a block or a blanket between your feet. A couple different ways to do this too. It kind of just depends on your knees. So if you can't get your hips to the ground comfortably, again, you can sit on a block. You can also take the blanket right there on the backs of your calves. Make sure it's up against your knees. What this does is it gives your knees a little bit more space. And then you can sit back. So you still get your quadricep stretch. Your knees get a little bit of a lengthening and space action here. These are basically just a spacer. And then it does help because it basically creates some pressure point stuff where you're like right where your ligaments and tendons tend to be tightest. The blanket kind of pushes in there and helps keep them from firing up and getting really upset with you. So this can be very, very useful with the blanket. So experiment, see where you need to be. And then the next thing you want to do is just press the toes into the ground. So toes are spread out, nice and wide as you can get them. Spread them out, press them down,
And then you may feel like this leaning back action is going to work for you as well. If it works, fantastic. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. So breathe deeply and you go back as far as you feel comfortable. So I am not getting a huge stretch in my quadriceps and I want a little bit more. So I'm going to lift my hips up and stretch my tailbone forward a little bit more. And then I'm going to come down to my forearms. I'm stretching my knees forward and pressing my toes into the ground. So more of a quadricep stretch for me. If you feel a quadricep stretch sitting up super tall, that's perfect. And don't worry, we're going to do another quadricep stretch that's a little bit less intense for the knees. So you can also come all the way down the ground. This is called the hero pose, the full-blown pose, arms over your head. It is fine if you've got quadriceps and knees that are okay with it, but a lot of people really just start feeling tugging in their knees. It just starts turning into too much ligament tendon around the cartilage here. So you could squeeze your inner thighs in toward the midline a little bit more, and that often will help to sort of even out the stretch in the muscles. So this is just one of those postures where there are so many different approaches and you kind of have to just play with it, figure out how it works for you, since all of our knees are sort of put together differently depending on what we've done with them our whole entire lives. All right, so we're going to come out of this and do a downward dog just to give you a shot. A lot of people feel this in the arches of the feet. It's not knees at all for them. Okay, so flip it over. Find your downward dog. Walk it out. All right, we're going to try this again. So next one's going to be up against a wall. And if you don't have a wall nearby, then you can do this on your belly. So I'm going to take a blanket here, and probably I don't need a blanket just because of the nature of the rug I've got here on the floor, but it does kind of helps if you've got a funky like trim on the wall to keep your knee from pushing into a lot of hard material. So I'm going to take my right knee up into the corner. My shin is up against the wall, and I'm going to hang out here. My left shin, my front shin is on the ground. Now, blocks can be helpful if you end up coming up higher. So you really want to get a nice stretch here in the quads. So I'm coming up a little higher and gently pressing my knee into the corner. If this feels okay and you're thinking, there's not a whole lot happening, I don't feel a quadricep stretch, then it's probably time for you to try to get your front foot on the ground instead of your shin. So taking a moment and getting that foot on the ground, you can still lean forward a lot. So you don't have to come to a full upright position. So I'm gently pressing my back knee into the wall and into the floor, that corner. This is working for me, but it's starting to loosen up a lot because I'm breathing deeply. So you may want to come up a little higher and bring your hands to your thigh. Now these are all just stages, so you find the one that works for you. Gently stretch your knee again into that little corner. So I'm gently pushing down. My other hip is probably popping up a little bit. So if you want to kind of just help that hip drop so that your hips are relatively level, that's a good one right there. And then some people can get their hips to the wall. So my foot would be on the outside of my hip and I can get my hip to the wall. Now that is very similar to that hero posture on the ground, right? So if you can't do it, it's okay. So nice deep breaths. And then there is another variation, and this is for the more flexible people. There is a variation. If you can get your hips all the way to the wall, there's probably, and you really don't feel much happening, then you can start walking your left foot forward. So essentially what's happening is I'm now starting to do something kind of more like the splits, but it's definitely a bigger quad stretch in that back leg, and that's what we're going for. Is if you need more focus on the quads and the quads need to loosen up a little bit more, you can start sliding that left foot forward a little bit more. So breathe deeply. Don't forget, the breaths are important. So if you go into this one, this is a little bit more like the splits. You get a lot more hamstring of the front leg in there, but that quad is getting a huge stretch as well as my hips come closer to the ground, right? So this is more advanced. I don't expect a lot of people to go in this one. Okay, so go ahead and come out of wherever you are and let's switch legs. So left knee in the corner. Start with your shin on the ground. Even if you're super flexible, start with your shin on the ground. It gives you a good place to work from. Breathe deeply. Press that left knee into the wall. If you feel nothing, then it is definitely time to put your right foot on the ground. And you can keep your hands on blocks, low or high. Breathe deeply. Again, just keep gently pushing that left knee into the wall. If you're feeling a lot happening, breathe into it. Take your time. But the beautiful thing about the breath is if you really are breathing deeply, there's a very good chance you're going to go a little deeper, just because quadricep muscles, out of all the muscles in the body, I find quadricep muscles are the most responsive to deep breaths. Hamstrings try. They really do try to respond, but they tend to be a lot tighter just because we bend our knees a lot, right? That's what hamstrings do, is bend your leg. So, and we don't always fully extend, which means quadriceps tend to be a little bit less tight. All right, so same thing here. Maybe your hand comes to your thigh. Maybe your hip comes to the wall, whatever. Doesn't make you a better person if you're more flexible. So gently press that left knee into the ground or into that corner. Decide how that quadricep stretch is working for you. Breathe deeply. Keep breathing. If you need to go deeper, go for it. But don't feel like you have to go there just for some ego thing. It's really just trying to figure out what your body needs. So keep on going. Breathe, breathe, breathe. We got about 5 breaths to go. All right, and then slowly come out of this one. Okay, so quad should be looser, and now we shall work on our bridge stuff. So lie on your back. So just take a moment to help the SI joint find a nice even place. We're going to move with it a little bit more, but just give it a moment to rest here since we just did that asymmetrical posture again. So resting. My block is pretty close to my tailbone. It's low on the pelvis. So we're going to work on hips and we're going to work on shoulders, and we're going to put the two together. We're going to move this block to the next level. So if the next level is too high for you, you can stack 2 blocks at their lowest level on top of each other. That'll take you up another inch or 2. So stack them like that. Or if you feel like you can just go to the highest level, then you can do that. So this is stage 2 here, and then there is stage 3. So we got nice big breaths. Again, close to the bottom of your pelvis where your SI joint is. Stage 1, 2, or 3 at your blocks, and then you're going to grab your mat, roll your shoulders underneath you, press the back of your head into the ground, pull your chin away from your neck. And we've been working on the shoulders a bit, but we're going to keep working on them. So see if you can grab your hands on the other side of the block, or just keep grabbing the mat. Kind of depends on how your blocks are positioned. Keep pressing the back of your head into the ground and pulling your chin away from your neck. What you're trying to do is maintain that nice natural curve that you've got in your neck, so you don't want to collapse your chin in. Two more breaths. All right, and lift your hips. Push into the balls of your feet. Lift your hips. Remove the block. Come on down. Walk your feet out to the sides of your mat and drop your knees in toward each other for a moment. All right, we want to get into the shoulders. We're coming back to the bridge, but I just want to make sure we got our shoulders nice and opened up here. So from here, we're going to flip over. Come over to the left side of your mat. Actually, I'm going to go over to my right just because that way you can see. But left side of your mat, take your right arm out to the side. Take it out to about 3 o'clock, but then drop it down closer to 6 o'clock. Bend your leg of your left side and roll over. You want to put your block under your head. So, and then you're going to try to grab your hands behind your back. So we're just opening up the shoulders a little bit more. Big inhales, big exhales. Everybody's a little different here. So if you feel really comfortable, you can put your left foot on the ground, or sorry, your right foot on the ground and drop your hip. All right, and then slowly come out of it. And let's go to the other side. So come over to the other side of your mat, take your other arm out, bend your knee, roll over, take that block under your head, reach back, grab your hands, and then eventually flip it over. Put your foot on the ground. Maybe. If it seems like that's just a little bit too much, don't do that. Big breaths. All right, go ahead and come on out of that one. Take a child's pose for just a moment. Now we're going to flip over onto our backs again. Well, I'm going to do one more thing and then flip over. I want to get a little bit more back strengthening here. Okay, slide onto your belly. Now, these back toes, spread them out. You're going to try to keep them on the ground. It's going to be really hard to do, but do your best. So, toes are spread out. Press the toenails into the ground. Bring your forehead and your nose to the ground. Bring the hands to the back of your head. And then keep pressing your toenails into the ground. Zip up your belly. Roll your pubic bone toward the ground. And then lift your head and shoulders up. Now these muscles here that you're feeling as you're lifting, these are super important when you do back bends on the other side. But we forget, and we start trying to make our flexibility part of the equation. And what you really want to do is make sure that you're using your strength. Flexibility is something you deploy after you're working the muscles into a strengthening position. Which makes sense, right? Even in life, it's okay to be flexible, but if you're flexible and not strong, that's not going to work very well for you in a lot of situations, mentally, physically. All right, so push back to child's pose. Okay, we're going to flip over onto our backs. Use all those lovely back muscles that we just fired up. And use those leg muscles that we just fired up. So, we're going to lie on our backs. Take a moment. Take those feet up. Touch your feet, so touch your heels, and you don't have to touch them at the same time. Just make sure you can, one finger at a time. Then you're going to roll the shoulders underneath you and press feet into the ground. So press the back of the head in the ground, pull your chin out of your neck, and then see if you can get your shoulders underneath you a little bit more. And then really use your leg muscles to push into your inner heels and lift your hips up, but also think about those back muscles, right? So you're pressing your shoulders into the ground, pressing the back of your head into the ground, lifting your hips, and you should be feeling some of those middle back muscles that we used to lift up when we were on our bellies. And then walk that left foot in about an inch, not much. Press into that left foot and take your right leg toward the sky. Press those arms into the ground, press the shoulders into the ground, press the back of the head into the ground, and you can even pull your knee kind of toward you a little bit as you press into your left foot. All right, take a moment and rest. Bring your feet down, hips down. Walk your feet out to the sides of the mat, drop the knees in toward each other. It's a very satisfying posture to rest in after you've deployed quadriceps, butt muscles, back muscles, once you're using the entire body for this posture. All right, so we'll do the other side. Go ahead and walk your feet in, measure it out, just make sure you can touch your heels. Roll those shoulders underneath you. Press into the inner heels. So nice loose quadriceps, butt muscles are doing their job. Walk your right foot in just about an inch, not a lot, just enough to give you a little bit more support here. And then take that left leg toward the sky. Press the back of the head in the ground, press the arms in the ground. Keep pressing through the inner right heel, and then pull that left knee in toward you just a tiny bit as you press firmly to the ground with your right foot. And then bring it down. Walk the feet off to the sides of the mat and drop the knees in toward each other. So in yoga, you often have teachers saying, don't clench your butt, which is crazy. You have to use your butt muscles to lift up. But the reason why they say that is they don't want you using only your butt in this posture. If you are, it tends to squeeze too much and tighten up your low back. But if you use all your back muscles along with the butt muscles, the glute muscles, then you've got this amazing set of muscles all the way through the spine that are working on this posture. So we're going to do this again, but why don't we add in bridge against the wall? And then we will also possibly do wheel. But bridge against the wall first. So I love this one. So you're going to take your mat up against the wall, and then you might need your blocks nearby, so just in case. All right, so from here, right now my feet are toes spread out. The ball of my foot is in the corner. My toes are up the wall. So you may not get your pinky toe up the wall, but try. So my ball of my foot is bending into the wall. And the reason why this is useful, toes up, toes bent at the ball of the foot, is it keeps your knees from flying out to the sides too much. So keep trying to squeeze into the midline. You can even use a block here between your thighs to just kind of help use those inner thighs, because those inner thighs are directly connected to your core, right? Your back muscles and belly muscles. So squeeze in, and you're going to push the balls of the feet into the wall and lift the hips. As you push into your big toe ball joint into the wall and gently squeeze into the block, you're going to notice, yes, your buttocks start engaging, your inner thighs start engaging. You can even feel your low belly. And as you push, you're going to start feeling some more of your back muscle as well. Press the back of the head into the ground. Pull your chin out of your neck, out of your chest. Nice deep breaths. Get used to that inner thigh work. So when we weren't using the wall before, I was saying press into your inner heels. You could try that a little bit, and you'll feel those inner thighs engage a little bit more. All right, go ahead and rest for a moment. Now, you don't need the block on this one, but just remember the block. You want to keep using those inner thighs. And then we're going to take one leg up. So when you are ready, you're going to take a foot up the wall. So grab the sides of your mat, roll your shoulders underneath you, press the back of your head into the ground, Press your big toe ball joint into the wall. Press your inner heels into the ground. Nice deep breaths. And then let's go left foot in the wall, right foot up the wall. You're going to push your heel against the wall. What this does is it gives you a little bit more liberation for that left foot to press the left big toe ball joint into the wall and the left inner heel into the ground. You can feel that inner thigh action happening. And most likely, you can feel that inner thigh action going all the way through your spine as well. Keep pressing your shoulders in the ground and pull your chin out of your chest. All right, let's go for the other side. So switch legs, put that big toe ball joint into the corner where the wall and the floor meet. So toes up the wall, ball joint in the floor, in that corner, the rest of your foot on the ground. And then let's go for the other side. So pull your chin out of your neck, out of your chest, press down, get those shoulders underneath you, and then place that left heel on the wall. You can push into the wall with your left heel, but that's supposed to help you get your inner thigh of your right leg a little bit more aligned by pressing into your big toe ball joint and your inner right heel. And then again, don't let your chin fall into your chest. Pull your chin out of your chest and press the back of the head in the ground. And then you can keep pushing with your left heel and ball of your right foot and feel this really nice stretch. So you'll notice, because you're using so many other muscles, your butt is engaged. It's just not clenched, right? It's doing its job. It's just not trying to do all the job. And then come on out of it. Walk your feet out to the sides and let your knees drop in toward each other. And breathe. All right, we're going to do a back bend wheel with our hands closer to the wall. And then we're going to flip it around like this again and try to do the back bend with our feet in the wall. So just giving the shoulders a chance to open up here. All right, so you're going to put you have a couple options. You can go at a 45-degree angle, put your blocks up against the wall, make sure there's room for your head right here, or you can put your blocks flat if you're using blocks. So we're almost done here. All right, so put your head between your blocks, fingers pointing down, feet about hips distance apart. Use your legs first, push into your inner heels, big toe ball joint, and then press into the block. See if you can get your upper back off the ground. And then if you can, see if you can get your head to the ground. Then pull your elbows away from the wall and get your arm bones in your shoulder sockets. And then see if you can push up. Again, we're going in stages. So wherever you end up is fine. And then come on down. Okay, so next one. Take a rest. I'll go ahead and flip it around. Now, if you are tight in the shoulders, which a lot of us are, then you can put your blocks over here. So my balls of feet are in the wall. I want to be able to touch my heels, so get close enough. If you got really tight knees, you can be a little farther away from your heels. All right, and then I got my blocks here. And then I'm going to press into the wall with my big toe ball joint, into the ground with my heel, and then see if I can come on up, right? And it may not be big. It may not be huge here. Just kind of playing with those shoulders. You can also not use the blocks at all. Try to keep the elbows pointing up. Press. Top of the head. Elbows in. Come on up. And you can do the same thing that you were doing with the bridge. You can play with a heel on the wall, right? Nice big breaths. This is just playtime. You decide where you go. All right. I'm going to take a moment and breathe and rest. All right. Let's do a quick little release of the back since we did all that back strengthening and hip strengthening. So you want to lie on your back. Hug your right knee into your chest. And then a little twist. Bring that right leg across the body to the left. Now let's go for the other side. Hug your left knee into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. And then bring that left knee across the body to the right. And then find your relaxation. I find that a little bit of a hip opener is pretty great. So if you want to do a lying on your back, bottoms of your feet together, and then let the blocks rest under the thighs. Nice little hip opener. Take the arms out to the sides. Slow down your breath. Belly rises as you inhale. Belly falls as you exhale. And take a moment to thank yourself for working on your strength along with your flexibility. Take a moment to thank this body for getting you through this life, working hard for you. And start wiggling your fingers and toes. And roll your wrists and ankles in small circles. And extend your legs if you had your feet together. Take the arms over your head. Take a big inhale, stretch it out. And a big exhale, relax. And one more time. Hold it. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5. Big exhale, relax. And hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. You might want to roll gently from side to side or in little circles. And then if you want to come up very slowly, roll over onto one side first using your bottom arm as a pillow. And then press yourself up and come to a comfortable seated posture. Bring your hands into your heart center. Take a moment, check in. And bring your hands up to your forehead for kind thoughts, down to your lips for kind words, and down to your heart center for kind intentions. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.